Hey guys, it's me, Seren, back with another video. So this is going to be a quick review video. I know I always say that my videos are going to be quick, and then they're never ever quick, but I promise that this one is going to be quick. So for any of you guys that watch Beats Bake, you know that this past Sunday we watched episodes 1 and 2 of a web show called Blue Collar Hustle. There will be links in the description box to the channel for anyone that wants to check it out. And I was sent an advanced copy of the next episode that's supposed to be coming out tomorrow. It will be episode 4. And I was asked to review it for you guys. So I wanted to do this review in the same format that I did my Kamau Bell book review, because you guys really like that. And so yeah, I think that like moving forward when I do reviews, it's going to be in this format of the good, the bad, and the ugly. So let's just jump right into it. The good of what I loved about this episode 4, it's called Goddess of Blue Collar Hustle. This is something that I like about all of the episodes, and something that I would definitely recommend is that I love the intro. You guys know, I know I've talked about intros on this channel before. I have like a thing for intros. Dexter has probably my all-time favorite intro for a TV show. I really loved the intro for Daredevil. I just feel like when you have like great music and great imagery, it can really like set the tone for watching the show. I really like the intro for Queen Sugar a lot. I really like the intro music, and I really like this intro for Blue Collar Hustle, especially considering that this is a web series that is being filmed by like regular people and not part of like a big budget like mainstream Hollywood production. I really like this intro. I really enjoy the characters. They're super interesting. They're super well written, and even though all the characters are black, they are diverse. They have really distinct, separate opinions, ideas about things. We talk a lot about how black people are not a monolith, and something that I really like about this show is that you have a lot of different types of black people that feel differently about different types of things, and they're having these conversations, and they have differing opinions, and it does not fall into any type of narrative trope or anything like that. So I really like that. I'm also going to say there's something that I like. This is going to sound like a really random comparison. This show is extremely meta. It is extremely self-aware in a way that reminds me a lot of Supernatural. For anyone that watches Supernatural, I love Supernatural. It's in season 12. I've been riding with this show for like 5 or 6 years now. Like I got on the Supernatural train kind of late, but I got like hooked, and I just watch every season, every episode, and I'm just gonna ride with this show till the end. But Supernatural is really meta, which means that it's very self-aware. They have like this running joke about these like books that are based off of the Supernatural characters, and it's just very self-referential, and there's a lot of like tongue-in-cheek jokes to the fandom. It's very aware of like what the show is doing. And watching this episode of Blue Collar Hustle, I don't want to get too into the plot because I don't want to ruin it for any of you guys that want to watch it, but it's basically a show by black people doing a thing in real life. So regular black people in real life that are trying to accomplish something by filming a show. The show is about real black people doing a thing. So like it's a show by regular black people doing a thing about regular black people doing a thing. So a lot of the times I'm watching the show and I'm watching the conversations and I'm watching some of the interpersonal relationships, and I am like wondering like, oh, like how much of this is like real and how much of this is like scripted for the show, which is kind of cool. It's an interesting, like people love that meta shit. I enjoy it, so I like it a lot. And there's also an element of drama to it that I like. I know some of you are probably going to take this the wrong way. Don't take it the wrong way, but I would say that if you liked Empire, you would probably like this show. I liked the first season of Empire, and then it kind of went downhill from there, and Lee Daniels has a host of motherfucking coon problems and identity issues. But if you liked some of the interpersonal relationships of Empire, I think you will probably like a lot of what they're doing on Blue Collar Hustle. It reminds me a lot of some of the really good things about Empire. So that's the good. Now we're going to get into the bad. There is So the showrunner is a guy named Ziggy, who I know, who's like one of my internet friends, and he's the showrunner and he's the main writer, and he's a man, he's a black man, and I'm gonna come right out and say that there's like some real like niggerish shit about the show that is like very, again, it's like very real. It's like taken from like really real conversations. There's a really long scene in the middle of this episode where three of the main black men characters are like talking, and there's some stuff that's just like, ooh, this might be a little like some of this maybe should have like stayed inside of your head. You know what I'm saying? And that scene in particular with the three guys talking is really, really long. It takes up the bulk of the episode. The Blue Collar Hustle is only 30 minutes. And this scene alone is probably like 10 to 15 minutes, which is a lot for one scene. And this episode kind of like starts delving into relationships, and especially relationships between black men and black women, which can be a really, really touchy subject. And there's definitely some stuff that I would say favors black men, like leans really towards the side of black men, and maybe could be a little bit more nuanced and a little bit more well-rounded. And there's also a scene towards the end of this episode between one of the male main characters and a black woman that actually kind of evens out this one long scene where it's these three black men talking about relationships between black men and black women. And again, it's like one of those like conversations that they call, you know, like shop talk or barbershop talk, where a lot of things are said that it's just like, oh, wow, ooh, that's how you really feel, you know, type stuff. And then later on, there is a scene again between a black man and a black woman that kind of like evens it out because this black woman is giving her perspective. But like the scene with the three black men talking is really long and takes up the bulk of the episode. And this other scene is kind of towards the end and is maybe only like 5 or 6 minutes. So I kind of felt like that was a little bit lopsided. Like maybe the scene in the middle should have been like trimmed down a little bit so that the later scene could have like gotten a little bit more shine. Because it was a really good counterpoint to that main scene. And again, there's just like some times where it's really obvious that the script was written by a man. And I said to Ziggy, like, I'm sure that this is like your target audience, but there are moments that feel really unrelatable to me as a woman. And again, there are parts that just literally feel like I'm not, like, clearly not like the target audience or the demographic, or again, it's just like too much. And there's also a lot, this is just like a personal pet peeve of mine. For any of you that also have like a little ear prick for this kind of thing, there's a lot of like overly trendy slang that's used in this episode. I don't like overly trendy slang because I feel like in media, like movies and books and songs and TV shows, because I feel like it dates the work. I don't even like in songs where people talk about like Instagram and Uber and Snapchat and stuff like that, especially because like the nature of the social media, for example, like moves so fast that like, you know, you're talking about Facebook in a song and then like the next year nobody's on Facebook anymore and then now your work is dated. So just a heads up for anyone that is like also has like a pet peeve for that kind of thing. There's a lot of like overly trendy slang. That's just like my personal pet peeve, so watch out for that. So that's the good, the bad, the ugly. There is some stuff in here that, again, I think might turn some women viewers off. There is some use of the word thought. There is some use of the word female to refer to black women. And I know, what is that saying about your ears are burning? Makes your ears burn, something like that. I know for a lot of people that is going to be like a turnoff. I'm not going to speak for anybody. Like, if it doesn't bother you, it doesn't bother you. If it does, it does. But just a heads up, there is a lot of that type of language. Again, it's written in a certain way. And again, there were some parts that I was just like, ooh, this is like kind of hard to watch. It's kind of hard to listen to. There are some underlying implications in some scenes and in some of the commentary, especially when the three black men are talking. There's some stuff that comes off as a bit misogynistic, which I know you guys will definitely catch. But again, if you guys watch it and you feel that way, leave comments. Let Ziggy know, let the other writers know, let everyone know how you feel. Again, I don't want to get too in depth because I don't want to ruin the plot for you guys of what happens, but there's a lot of either or binary thinking. You guys know I'm not really into binary thinking about Black women can either be this or they can be that. Not that Black women are multifaceted and can be both things or neither thing or all the things at once. There's just a lot of stuff along those lines. And I feel like when you start getting into that type of stuff in any type of media, especially narrative media where you're trying to tell these stories, it can be a really tricky balancing act of, expressing how you might feel at that given moment. And I write, I'm a writer, I create, whatever. It can be hard, a balancing act of how you feel in that exact moment versus, is this actually true? Is this actually appropriate? Is this actually something? Is this actually conveying what I want it to convey? Or am I just, writing in the heat of the moment and putting something out there? So there is a little bit of some misogynistic undertones. And again, some binary stuff about Black women and also Black men too, either being this or that. But again, the showrunner Ziggy is very, very open to feedback. We corresponded before I even filmed this review. I wanted to let him know what I thought, give him a heads up. So again, if you guys do watch it, please leave comments and let him know what you think. And if you liked it, if you didn't like it, what you think is good, what you think is bad, give honest feedback. But, overall, I really just appreciate, you guys know that I'm all about building outside of infrastructure. So again, Black people doing a thing, I appreciate. So that is my review. Short, sweet, to the point, 12 minutes. See you guys next time. The episode goes live tomorrow, Saturday, on the Blue Collar Hustle website. Again, there will be links in the description box. If you guys are watching it, if you watched along on BeesBake, or if you've watched it since then, you can let me know what you think. And again, please feel free to reach out to them over there on their channel and leave comments. And poop that as always. See you guys next time. Peace!